And welcome all to complete Indian economy course. This will be the complete syllabus of prelims as well as mains for upcoming prelims 2025 exam. For most of the people this subject is little difficult, so we will be discussing it, uh, and we will try to simplify this subject as much as possible. The subject is little technical, so we will struggle if we don't have background or the foundation of the subject. So in first few classes we will be building our foundation for the subject. It may be very basic for some of us, but please stay focused for these foundation classes or foundation lectures, so that when we will be discussing the advanced topic you will be having, you don't have to struggle with those topics because of the strong foundation, right? So it will be a complete course. You don't have to refer to anything if we are completing this video series. And let's begin with our first class, the first module lecture that we are having today. It will be about introduction to economics. Now for many of us maybe it is very easy, but we will be having this discussion to make foundation of the subject. Fine. Introduction to economics. So we will be starting with the definition of economy. What is an economy? Okay. Economy: any area that is real or virtual, any area real or virtual, or space having defined set of rules. Any area real or virtual or space having defined set of rules and established institutions to implement those rules, is called an economy. For example, we talk about Chinese economy, we talk about Indian economy. So Chinese economy, Indian economy. Examples: so they are having defined set of rules, and established institutions. What are institutions? Institutions are nothing but any body having well defined structure. And what do you mean by structure of the body? What do you mean by the structure? Any body having well defined structure is called as what? Institution. But what do we mean by structure? So structure means two things for us. One is it is having its objective, and number two, rules to achieve those objectives. Example, we have police as an institution, we have schools as an institution. These are institutions. They are having objective and some rules to work, right? So these are institutions. So once again we are coming to the definition of economy: any area. So economy is related to area. China, India, global economy, US economy, right? Economy of the US. So any area, real or virtual, or space having defined set of rules. Virtual means, for example, right now what we are having, the online classes. So virtual: any area, real or virtual, or space having defined set of rules and established institution to implement those rules is called as economy. Institution means any body having well defined structure. Well defined structure means two things, that is objective as well as rules. For example, police as an institution, schools are as an institution are there in the economy, right? So if this is economy, what is economics then? What is economics? So economics is nothing but, we can say, study of economy is called economics. Is called study of economy is called economics. Okay. So there are various definitions, number of definitions of economics that we can talk about. So we will take scarcity definition of economy. Scarcity definition of economics. What do we mean by scarcity definition of economics? So economics is the study of making choices in the presence of scarcity. So if you are making choices in the presence of scarcity, that is known as economics. What do we mean by scarcity? We will come to it. First we will discuss what is scarcity. When any element or commodity, or for example, as we talk about goods, commodity as goods or goods. So when any element or commodity, for example goods, or maybe services as well, or services are available in lesser amount than it's needed, is known as scarcity. For example, you need 2 BMWs with you, but you cannot have because of scarcity of resources, right? So when something is in less available in less quantity than the desired amount is known as scarcity. So what is economics then? Economics is the study of making choices in the presence of scarcity. So these discussion we will take further while we will discuss the central problems of economy. As of now, we can understand this: the scarcity definition of economics is related to making choices in the presence of scarcity. And what is scarcity? Scarcity is nothing but some element or goods or services which are present in the lesser amount than it's needed, right? This is known as scarcity. So why this scarcity is there? The problem of scarcity. Why scarcity is there? So the problem of scarcity arises because, why scarcity is there in the economy? So problem of scarcity arises because human wants are unlimited. Human wants are unlimited, but the resources to satisfy those wants, are limited. The resources to satisfy those wants are limited. Why these resources are limited? Because these resources can be utilized for production, consumption, investment, or you can also call the investment as capital formation. We will discuss each and every word. No need to worry about production, consumption, investment, or capital formation. We will discuss each and every point. First, to discuss these things, we will discuss what are economic activities. What are economic activities? So, economic activities are all those activities all those activities which can be measured, and create value, which can be measured and create value, are called as economic activities. For example, you are sitting idle in your room and you are watching reels. So this can be measured. You have watched 300 reels, 400 reels per day, like that. Yes, and you can measure it, but it is not creating any value. So if it is not creating value, it is not an economic activity. But the people who are making reels, maybe the channel is monetized or something like that, and they are earning value. So the activity can be measured as well as it's creating value for them. So for them it is economic activity, right? So there are two conditions: can be measured as well as creating value. These activities are known as what? Economic activities. Now these economic activities, these include production, consumption, exchange, and distribution. So let's understand what is production. So production is nothing but converting inputs into output. So some inputs are there, we are converting those inputs into output. For example, that is raw materials into finished goods. Raw materials into finished goods. And here goods means commodities. So for example, you are performing mining and you got an iron ore. From that iron ore you have made steel. So this is raw material input, this is output steel. But from steel you have made some kind of, maybe steel you have used to make some kind of vehicles or some utensils or maybe any other thing, right? Utensils or maybe any other thing. So this is what raw material, converting raw material into finished good. Now if we are making utensils, this is raw material and this is finished goods, right? So this is it. There is a concept also of intermediate goods. We are not going into it right now. Right now we are making it very simple. Production is nothing but from raw material to a finished goods. There is a concept of intermediate good also. We will take it at different point of time. Okay. So this is production. Or it is not production not only related to goods, maybe for services as well. So or even production of services. For example, right now whatever we are learning, I am sharing some information, you are learning these information. So this is what production of services, I am producing this service. So production of services, right? So production is related to both commodities, goods as well as services. Let's see the next definition, that is consumption. Just keep paying attention. I'm writing everything so that you don't feel like if I'll put PPT in front of you and I will be explaining, maybe it is a kind of monotonous thing. So that I'm writing everything and you just keep listening to this information. We will connect the dots after the end, at the end of the class, right? So consumption is what? In simple word, if we want to define, consumption is nothing but usage or utility. What we understand by the word utility, that is using goods and services. Using consumption means using goods and services and that is giving satisfaction by their use, giving satisfaction by use. For example, now you are attending this class, so it is giving you some kind of satisfaction that okay, somewhat I am able to understand the part of economy, right? So giving satisfaction by use. Similarly, it goes with the goods also. For example, the gadget on which you are watching, so the gadget is what, providing you some kind of utility, usage. So you, that is consumption, that is a part of consumption. So this is consumption. Now we come to exchange. Exchange is very simple, as you understand. Exchange, that is maybe market mechanism also. So market, trade off, you are exchanging something, so trade off. Barter system, for example, if you have heard about it, barter system, exchanging goods with goods, barter system. So these things are what, exchange. So exchange happens through market, but all exchange does not happen through market. Okay, so exchange happens through market, but not all exchange happens through market. Now we will discuss about distribution. Distribution is nothing but allocation of goods and services. Allocation of goods and services in an economy, among people. So you are distributing, allocating the goods and services among people. That is called as what, distribution, right? Now, since we have understood what are the economic activities, these are the economic activities: production, consumption, exchange, distribution, right? Now we can move ahead to understand what is non-economic activities. What is non-economic activities? Non-economic activities, there are two conditions. All those activities which are, number one, illegal, and number two, difficult to measure. Illegal, you understand, right? If gambling is illegal in your country, so gambling will be a kind of illegal activity in that particular country, right? So illegal activities, all illegal activities are non-economic activities. And difficult to measure means what? All production, you can say, all production of services for self-consumption, not goods, only services. Mark here the word that all production of services for self-consumption, but not goods. Difficult to measure means what? For example, services of housewife, or mothers in the household, right? In the home, in our family, the services of housewives or mothers in our home. What is happening is they are producing lot of services, right? From making food, washing clothes, utensils, everything. But these are difficult to measure, you cannot assign value to it, right? So it is non-economic activity. Illegal activities and the activities which are difficult to measure, but not, this is not the right word, this is the kind of conclusion, difficult to measure. All production of services for self consumption is what? Non-economic activities. For example, a teacher teaching in school is an economic activity, but a teacher teaching his or her own child is not an economic activity. That is non-economic activity. For example, a doctor giving treatment to patient in hospital, that is economic activity. But a doctor giving treatment to his father maybe at his home, so that is not an economic activity, that is non-economic activity, right? So these are non-economic activities. Now there are two very popular ways to study economy. So there are two most popular ways to study economics. You might have heard the words, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics and macroeconomics, right? So we will see what exactly these are, micro and macro. See, in microeconomics, this is studying and individual unit. Studying and individual unit. This is known as microeconomics. For example, income of an individual. Income of an individual. This is a part of what? Microeconomics. Income of an individual. Or profit of one firm. Profit of any one firm. For example, profit of Reliance Geo. Profit of Reliance Geo. This is what? This comes under microeconomics because you are studying an individual unit. Then price of onion in the market. Price of onions in the market. If you are studying this, then it is part of what? Microeconomics. For example, the quality of textile produced. Quality of textile produced in an economy. Textile produced. So these are what? Related to one single term, one single individual unit. That's why these are what? Part of microeconomics. Now we will see what is macroeconomics then. So macroeconomics is nothing but study of aggregate values. Study of aggregate values. Average. For example, what? Example, national income. So it is national. Here you can see income of individual. Here national income. Income of the country. Income of nation, right? National income. For example, if we talk about inflation. So inflation is not related to one particular commodity. Rather, it is a basket of commodities, right? So inflation. Now government budget. Government budget. This is also part of what? Macroeconomics. Per capita income. But you may say per capita income is related to what? Per person income. What is per capita income? Per person income. But how we calculate per capita income? National income divided by total population. National income divided by total population. Now, these things are what? Aggregates. National income is an aggregate. Total population is an aggregate. So, per capita income is also a part of aggregate, and hence its study comes under macroeconomics. So these are two ways to study micro as well as macro. Now see, our most of the syllabus, 90% of the syllabus is related to what? Macroeconomics. 95% syllabus in UPSC is related to macroeconomics only, because we have to study Indian economy. So Indian economy is nothing but the economics of India, the concepts, the rules, the principle of economics applied to a territory of India is known as Indian economy, right? For example, if you apply all principles of economics, rules of economics to Delhi, then it will be economics of Delhi, economics of Mumbai, economics of Maharashtra. So Maharashtra, economy of Maharashtra economy, Delhi economy, right? So the economy is nothing but when economics is applied to a particular territory. In the beginning we saw the definition, any area, real or virtual or space, right? So our major syllabus is macroeconomics, not micro, but some of the topics are there related to microeconomics that we will deal first. But one more thing we want to study here, that is, there are two major classification or approach, we can say approach. One is positive economics. So what do we understand by positive economics? See, positive economics means what? The field of economics, the field of economics which studies the facts and actual values, is known as what? Positive economics. This is the approach. For example, this is what? Answering what it is. What it is means what? Example. If we take example, we will be able to understand. For example, what is India's per capita income? So facts. India's per capita income. Facts. What is India's per capita income? Or maybe what is infant mortality rate? Infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate. What is infant? Child between age of 0 to 1 year. Infant mortality rate in India. So these are what? Facts and figures, right? This is the reality. So infant mortality rate, for example, approximately 40 per thousand. So this is what? Infant mortality rate. Now, if we take another approach, that is normative economics. Normative economics. What do we mean by normative economics? See, normative economics is nothing but the study of what ought to be, what should have happened. For example, poverty should be removed. Poverty should be removed. This is what? If we are making these kind of statements, this is what? Normative economics. We are talking about ideal world. Poverty should be removed. For example, inequality should be, or inequality removal should be a prime target of government policy. Should be a prime target of government policy. So this is what ought to be, what should have happened. This is normative economics, right? So these are two approaches that we have discussed. So now these questions, so once we will go for the recap. So in economy, we talk about any area that is real or virtual, or space having defined set of rules and established institutions to implement those rules. So for example, Chinese have their economy, Indians have their own economy, right? So Chinese economy, Indian economy, US economy, etc. What are the institutions? So institutions are body which are having well-defined structure. The structure means two things: objective and rules, right? So this is institution. Then we came to understand what is economics. So study of economy is called as economics. Then we saw the scarcity definition of economics. So why we are, so the kind of choices that we are making in the presence of scarcity. Why scarcity is there? Scarcity is there because of humans are having unlimited wants, but resources to satisfy those wants are limited. Resources can be used in production, consumption, investment, right? So we talk about economic activities. What are the economic activities? Then we creating values and can be measured. Creating values as well as can be measured. So we talk about production, that is converting input into an output. Then we talk about consumption, that is utility. We are getting some kind of satisfaction from goods and services. Then exchange happening through market, a kind of trade-off, a kind of barter system. Then we talk about distribution, that is the allocation of goods and services to the people. Then we talk about non-economic activities. Non-economic activities are nothing but what? Number one, illegal, and number two, difficult to measure, right? Or services for self-consumption. These are non-economic activities. Then we talked about two most popular ways to study economics. Number one, microeconomics, and then we talked about macroeconomics. Studying an individual unit, individual sector is known as what? Micro, and studying aggregate in an economy is known as macroeconomics, right? Then we talk about positive economics. Positive economics means the facts, the figures. When we talk about the GDP of India, the per capita income of India, right? when we talk about normative economics, it gives us the idea of an ideal world, what ought to be, what should have happened actually. That is normative economics, right? So now from here we will be having our next lecture, and there we will be studying microeconomics first. So because microeconomics is only 10% of the syllabus, or maybe 8 to 10% of the syllabus of entire UPSC, so we will be completing this first, and then we will be moving towards macroeconomics, right? So in next class we will see microeconomics or basics of microeconomics, right? Till then you can uh, watch this lecture, and if there is a doubt you can contact me on this number 9891 638173. So, and you can also drop me a mail at mshrrf@yahoo.com. Also, you can join my group on Telegram, that is Mushonomics UPSC, right? So I will be sharing these PDF in this Telegram group, so you can join this Telegram group to have these PDF notes. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.